I don't have much room, so I'm good. This one just went off the first video, so I'm not going to be able to make another one probably. So I'm going to try to just say this and get it in. The When I was at Richfield, not Richfield, when I was at Scott Hill the last time that I've just put up this past few months, I'm going to go on with what Pam, the manager, said. She said, when I paid the rent there on the 19th of June, this year, she said something about, did I smell the smoke? The man, which his name is Connor, and what this is about. I had his apartment and the episode that suddenly he's taken out of there and he'd lived there a bit. And he smoked, and they're saying, well, do you smell the smoke in the carpet and everything? I said, no. So they're suggesting I haven't complained. So she said, Pam said, when I paid the rent on the 19th, she said, I want to come up and put this on the carpet. Will it bother you? Because I had made a point, and they knew it from before, that I'm allergic to chemicals. That's why I left the first time. I looked at it, and this is my words true, because part of it was covered up. The top wasn't. I said, well, I don't think that'll hurt me. I said, I use Arm& Hammer baking soda to bake with. I used to. Of course, I haven't been able to bake in a long time. Well, she came up and dusted it all over the carpet, and I have no furniture at the time except the bed and on the floor in the bedroom. And she put it in front of the air conditioning and all this, and this has been the source of where they sabotaged me with air conditioning. And she left and said they were going to come and vacuum a little bit later. They did, and that's when all hell broke loose. I got so sick, vertigo. It was horrible, and I'm already losing my hearing from all this. So then I had to go to her and complain. And by the way, you got some of the people that live there coming to the door saying, well, I smell where he smoked. Well, I didn't. I never did. And it's a kind of new air conditioning, so I thought maybe I got one of the new ones that were put there when I complained 3 years before and moved out. By the way, there was an investigator there, and he moved out himself. It was so bad for him. He was put there, and they changed managers. Pam's manager now, and I don't remember the other one. But the other one, back in 2015, asked me one day, she said, does he work for you, the investigator? I said, no. Evidently, he was sent there. He also investigates judges and everything, but they made it so bad for him. He left, and he walked up and asked me, he said, do you know when they remove stuff from your apartment? I said, sometimes I do. He was talking about the lease, the monthly lease, and then finally after I left, they mailed it to me in 2015. So now then, where am I? Okay, the air conditioning. I turned in the reason I left the first time in 2015. It was mold, black mold and mildew all over the air conditioning, and a little pipe you'd have to see it come out right over my face. And this gets into me taking pictures, and it was black mold, and pets were dying. And some of the people this time remembered the pets dying, but they'd installed all of it suddenly after all those years of antiquated air conditioning heating units. After I sent the photos to the management company, they got new air conditioning units, digital and new ones. So here I go back, and they were put there because of my sending the photos, and I can't get an attorney because I'll be frank with you, I would certainly get one, but I took it to Moore. I had a whole bunch of them. They sent a lady out there, and I think she worked out there, and I'm not going to give her name, but if I'm not mistaken, she's one I sent all the photos to. And they would have been very damaging. And I sent them to the media. I put them up, kept some. So anyway, here it is. This one now that I'm talking about, 506 out there. It's on the nicer side. And I was so glad to get a place to be. And it was cute, a little apartment. It wasn't bad if it wasn't sabotaged like this. Uh, okay, I get really sick from that. He vacuums whatever she put down. If it wasn't Arm and Hammer baking soda, she should have made that clear. That's not what she did. Now, they had to. I really got sick then, and they had to call. They called the rescue unit, but I didn't go to the hospital. I declined, and they said it was okay after they checked me out. But I still had the sick. Now that I had to have them. Now this is when I did say something to Pam, the manager. I told her because of this. And she sent up a girl to or a man to shampoo with a small shampooer. Well, it was wet all night was part of it. It didn't get dry, but then that I was worse. I was getting worse, and there were smells that were pumped in there. I'll go ahead and say it because that's what's happened, but I can't prove it unless it gets into court. And these people that do this, uh, it's breaking the law. It's assault and battery. And look at the after effects to me that happened when I move and the leases and all this. It's so damaging unless you can get it into court. It looks bad for me. And in fact, people want to say, oh, well, that's nuts. They won't do that for you. The social services should be helping you. I'm Margaret Ann Windsor is my real name. Money stolen from me and pain and suffering to my kids and me, you can't imagine. And here I'm on trying to get begging for help from the welfare system that is blocked too, believe me. So there's horrible fumes coming in at 5 in the morning. I timed it, and then about 12 o'clock they come in off the air conditioning unit. Well, it's kind of looks new. Uh, so then, Pam, I'm going the best I can because this is going to go off. Pam says, okay, she sends in a girl. She said, we're going to have to, they were supposed to anyways, what she said, have put in the new carpet. So they're saying that, admitting the carpet, which HUD would require. You don't wait till you move in to remodel and do the carpet. So she sent in the big shampoo, I mean a big one, a young girl brought it up. The girl said to me, well, we're going to have to just put in new carpet because she explained something. And I said, well, she's already said they were going to. And that concerned me. Is that going to make me even sicker? Because at that point, I am really sick. So that didn't get dry. That was the big shampooer, and it was late in the afternoon, the best I can remember. So the next day, was it the next day? This is all happening within the next few days and week that I moved in. It was 9:30 at night, and I'm using the trash. The trash. Can't even say it. I got a block on that. I really do. When it happened, did you, I don't know. It's been so long since I'd had one too. A home and had one. Anyway, garbage disposal for God's sake. Okay, I used it at 9:30 at night, and suddenly all hell broke loose. The water is bursting underneath and coming out on the floor, and I'm putting down a few towels that they had given me. So it finally stopped. Next morning I go down and tell them. They come up, and when they leave, it's even worse. They had put something that really made me sick, and the air conditioning's just recirculating it, and I'm getting worse and worse. So Pam, when I told her about it, she says, well, they had to put glue on it. Well, that sounds correct because sealants and glue just kill me. But then if you look under the sink where he worked, you'd have to look back at the wall and how horrible it looked. There were rags around in the wall with the piping. It was so dirty, and I have to wonder if that whole building is not filled with black mold, because then the pictures I took, it actually went down into behind that big old antiquated air conditioning. It went into the wall and flooring, and I actually got that. So I have to wonder about the whole place, and that's the economy out there. Okay, Clifton Forge is small, and anyway, I'm having trouble with the air conditioning now. And so she's going to put in the new carpet, and they're saying it's the carpet, it's the carpet. And well, why didn't they do that, get rid of it to begin with? So I've got this name, Katrina. You have to know how it fits in. She's a black lady that's secretary. You got Pam and Sherry, names that are very important. And this is leading to the Scott Peterson, how I know that patterns were used in his mind control. And the carpet would go back to Wayne Williams back in 1980. And okay, where am I now? I up and leave because they're not fixing anything, and I'm upset about the carpet because first they told me it'd be 2 weeks. It'd take 2 weeks and I'd have to leave. Then they said, no, well, you can stay that day and just sit out here. They had a lobby that I could sit in. And then hopefully I wouldn't get sick that night. And I'm so sick by this time, I left. So now then I come back to where I'd been for a year here, where I am now. And it's takes every penny I have, and I seriously mean that. They have a breakfast, and it's reasonably, it's clean. But my point is, I can't afford it. I'd have to have something like this to be able to live that I was leaving. Now, you see how you could twist it. If you never have an attorney, or it never gets into court, they can come after me. And besides, I can't get anything else now. It looks so bad for me. Can you imagine me trying to tell it? Even though I've always paid my rent on time. It doesn't matter. So now then, I'm back over here. And here I tell them I'm not coming back. And I told them why. I tried to. They know. And Katrina, I remember, was trying to, I'm not going to say, she said, we're your friends, her and Pam and Sherry. Well, that can't be true. Let me clue you. Okay, Sherry calls me, and I called Pam, told her I'm not coming back. And I told her a little bit, and she knows why I wasn't coming back. My God, she's helping do it. So then, and I love the apartment. Right now I'd love most anything, I guess, but it was a cute little apartment if they hadn't sabotaged it. So now then I'm so sick from the air conditioning because it's pumping out fumes. There was one night there I slept with that air conditioning going when I first, couple of nights after I moved in that time period, I slept with it on all night, and it was perfect. So it's the same thing. They've used the air conditioner to make me run toxic fumes, get to the maintenance guy, and it's what it does to my body. My immune system shuts down, attacks itself, and it can cause havoc with your health and your kidneys, liver, anything. I have a heart arrhythmia now. Found last Christmas, so there you go. One of the things, I don't know what else. But anyway, I left on the 1st of, when did I leave? 1st of, I came back on July the 1st, so I left after only being there, 2 weeks or week and a half. And Sherry calls me, though, back later in July. I don't have that date. I paid the rent for July the 1st. Okay, she calls me about 11:30 at night and wants me to come back, that they're going to rent that if I don't come back. And she says, you can't break a lease. I said to her, yes, I can, if it's a medical one, and that's what's going on here. But then, they kept saying, well, you better go to your doctor. Of course, I couldn't get back to my doctor because she's in Roanoke, and I don't have a car, and nobody's going to bring me. When I didn't get a ride twice, they charged me $35 a ride. So, anyway, she kept talking to me nice. Well, she says to me, just come back. And this woman is due to come in. She's just reached 62. She wants your apartment, and she said she'll pick up the lease if you decide not to stay. So I go back, and she comes and gets me again. Which all this seems like they're being nice, unless you get my side of the what's happening. So I go back out there, and I'm trying to think how things went then. It boils down to, if I can remember, uh, I started having really trouble with the air conditioning. And Sherry was saying that she was going to put a digital. Suddenly she called up, just prior to August the 1st. She called up, and she's downstairs, but she calls me on my phone and said, well, if you'll just stay, I'm going to have, we've got one digital left. Mine was kind of a new one, but not one of the really new one, digital, that after I left and I was responsible for them getting. She says, I think there's one left back there, and I'll have them put it in. Well, she promised that, and she almost called on cue, because I was ready to leave and ready to leave. I was too sick. And I would sleep with the windows open. It'd get so bad. And I don't know, there's so much more went on, I can't even think right at the moment. That's the point in making this. It's going to go off in a second, too. So anyway, something happened. They went into my apartment. They're not supposed to, and Sherry was one of them. I had put something over the air conditioning. It wasn't even on. And this has happened in the past. It doesn't have to be on. The fumes come out. And it had stayed there all night, and the next day I went in, and it had been that the cloth had been taken off and put over somewhere else in the room. I knew somebody had been in. My next door neighbor told me, she said that Sherry had been in there, and she was trying to warn me something. Okay, that night, I got so sick, and I'm not going to tell you how, because then I knew I had to leave. There's no way in hell I was going to stay there after that night. So the next day, I finally got a woman to take me. And on the way over here, I paid her. On the way over here, I reported it stolen because that was such a frame job. I can't believe it that she did that to me. Anyway, when I found out it was gone, I looked and I knew what had happened. So I called the provider and had it deactivated my phone, and I reported it stolen. So now then, it ends up I call her back, and she starts telling me that she found it in her car between the seats, which is a crock. A crock. And come to find out, she couldn't get to it, turn it on. And the next day she was going to come up here. Can you believe this? Where she dropped me off back where I had been living. I'm living now, and I'm going to go with her. I'm telling her about. I shouldn't say anything nice about Richfield because they did the same thing to me. But I said nice things because it's not my experience, but they have a beautiful place that other people enjoy.